My name is Atewologun Laologuniyi. Atewologun means your destiny is in your hands. I'm a relationship coach, the #1 relationship coach in Africa. So before becoming a relationship coach, I was a musical artist. No, I am still a musical artist though. I can't give up on my music like that, So I went into music with my brother. People think we're twins, but he's a year older than me. My blood brother. That's when we came up with the Skuki. I don't know if you guys know Manya any banga. Yeah, that's us. So being a musical artist for over 10 years had its own, highs and lows. But then came the point where this voice inside me was not letting me rest. My mom is that woman that everybody used to come to for marriage advice. Her own mom, that's my grandmom, was also the same thing, right? Even though they didn't practice it professionally like we do nowadays. And I am the last born, and I was very clingy to my mom. So I was always with her when she was advising all these women and men coming for marital advice. So I picked up a lot of things over the years, but I didn't know. When I got to fame from music, my friends started pushing me like, oh, you have an audience. Why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about this? Oh, this thing you're telling us in the house. Why don't you take it out there? So it was one day, I think 2015, I just put out a video out there and I just explained some things. And then the response went wild. This was Mr. Paz Diagbara, Mr. Manyeni Banga, trying to now say, oh, you have to communicate and make sacrifices. So a couple of friends in the music industry were like, no, don't try this. This is going to kill your brand. Don't try this, don't try this. But something in me just knew, oh, this was what I should have been doing all along. So my friends knew, oh, okay, there's no issue. We trust what you say, right? We know that when you give us advice, it's always making sense. But a lot of people didn't know. Negative comments came along. It's only the few people that were like, what this guy said really, really touched me. Then I started reaching out to me. But human beings now, 10 people would give you positive comments. It's the 2 people that abuse you that your eye will focus on. So being in the creative industry, there's always going to be imposter syndrome, right? You'll be like, oh, this thing I'm bringing, should it be this much value? You don't want to preach what you're not practicing. But I got to realize that I cannot experience everything in this life. How many hats do I have that I want to experience everything going on? So the extra effort I put into my art is that I make sure that I do connect with my audience. People pay me huge sums for counseling for different things. Another thing again is most of my friends are 60 years old and above. And that's intentional because I realized that people in their 60s and 70s will give you hardcore real life advice. And hanging around with them more now kind of, just reshapes the way I see life. And by the time I bring that value to my generation, as we're still young and trying to figure out life, I see the impact it creates. So I put in those efforts. There are a lot of success stories that I've had over the years. One heartwarming story I had was a man who he works a 9 to 5 and he's not really entrepreneurial like that, but his woman wanted to leave the 9 to 5 job and become an entrepreneur in the fashion industry. And this had been a dream she had been nursing since her teenage years. But he was struggling with it. So he reached out to me and I was like, oh, what do you think I should do about this? Should I put my foot down? I'm the man and all that. I'm like, yeah, allowing her to do what she does not mean you are still not the man. How about you jump on it with her? Because this is something she had been into before she even met you. He listened to me after having a couple of sessions, and then he now even became her backbone in that new venture that she wanted to be. He now became the one that would go check up on her when she's having a shoot. He would take food to her, he would look up to this. Or sometimes she wants to make a decision, she would be like, let me ask my husband. So he now became a backbone, and it was just so good to see how they transitioned to that level of understanding, because it's could have broken them if you just didn't look at it from a different level. So sometimes perception is just all you need, how you perceive the issue. So I've had 8 women married this year alone. This was basically what happened. Oh, my boyfriend is not committing, not this, and I took them on several lessons and what they should say, what they should do. You see, you can't scare somebody that's scared, right? They'll just run away the more. So I took them on ways to deal with it, and all of them, that guy just went down one knee. So reach out to me if your man is shuffling his leg. He will propose this month. There's more to you than meets the eye. Sometimes you are doing one thing, but you know that you could do other things. You see people who don't even know as much as you doing what you think you could do. I have an example of a lady who was reaching out to me. After a while, I noticed that DM and I followed her back. So one day she went on Instagram Live. Because I was following her, I saw the notification and I joined her live. It happened that I was the only person on her live. Then she started requesting that I join the live. And I didn't really want to. I was not in the mood for it. Besides, that would bring in my own huge following. But after a while, that persistence paid off and I just joined her live. And then we started conversing and people started liking what she was saying and they were following her. Then along the line, Pastor Kingsley, came onto the live too because he saw that I was live. So before you know, this lady who came on live and was having 3 people had like 3,000 people. And she went from maybe 200 followers to like 4,000 followers. And her career now is going up. So you just have to do it, keep at it. Don't bother if you put up something and it has 1 like. Don't bother if you put up something and it has 0 comments. Just keep doing it. And what pains you is that you know deep inside that there's so much more to you than meets here. So just go for more.